Many Cybertruck owners really want to take their trucks off-road, but up until recently, they've always worried about the boulders and the rocks destroying the vehicle as you go over them because, let's face it, the rocker panels and all that were made of plastic and the battery was basically exposed. Well, Tesla has come up with a solution in the Terrestrial Armor Package, which is available for sale on the Tesla website. And here I have installed the armor package on my vehicle. I'm going to let you know what it's like to utilize this armor package, but more importantly, there are some caveats that you need to know about if you're considering having this put on your vehicle. So stay tuned, and we're going to get to that in just a few moments. In the meantime, don't forget to, number one, hype us up when you get a minute, and like and subscribe. And look in the description below to see how you can get some great discount on Tesla products. And I'll see you back in just a moment. Welcome back. So here we are at the bottom of the Cybertruck, and we have the Terrestrial Armor Package installed on this particular truck. Now, at first glance, it doesn't look like anything's different, but I can assure you there are some significant differences that are going on here. The very first thing you're going to notice is that right down here at the bottom on the rocker panel, this is no longer made of plastic. And it's not that smooth Cybertruck plastic that we've all come to know and love, as that plastic is very soft, and if any big rock happens to hit it, it'll scratch it up and dent it and all of that. So what Tesla has done, they've now instead made these into steel panels. So that is high-grade steel that they have put on these rocker panels. So if a boulder does happen to hit it, it's basically going to bounce off. At worst, there is a textured coating on this steel panel here. And if a rock happens to scrape it, it's not a big deal. You still have steel there. You can just spray coat it over again. Easy fix, not a problem. So that's the worst case scenario with these steel panels. Unlike before, with the plastic panels, you will probably have to wind up getting the panels replaced. The second major thing they did on the Terrestrial Armor Package is that underneath the vehicle, they have a double layer aluminum shell that's protecting the battery. The one that's on the outside is a nice smooth piece of aluminum, but there's another one on the inside that's ribbed and is providing most of the protection for the battery. That rib structure is actually pretty darn strong. Even if a rock were to hit it, it might sort of bend maybe just a little, but your battery will be intact. Now, if the bottom of the Terrestrial Armor Package gets damaged, it's really not that big of a deal because, well, nobody cares if the bottom's dented or not. You can dent it all up, nobody's going to notice. You might get some nice dimples that make the truck run a little bit more efficiency, like a golf ball maybe. Who knows? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, and it's aluminum, so it's not too big of a deal to get it replaced. So what are the specs on this specific armor package? How much does it cost? You know, how much does it weigh? Well, the Terrestrial Armor Package costs $3,500, and that's the cost of the package and the installation of the vehicle. It takes about 6 hours to have it installed. But what I've come to learn with Tesla service is that if you're going to put your truck down there for 6 hours, it's probably going to be there overnight in all likelihood. So just kind of plan on that if you happen to have it installed. It does add 185 pounds to the vehicle. So you're going to constantly be carrying around that extra weight, kind of like if you would have be carrying a spare tire. This weight tends to add up over time, and it's going to make the truck just a little bit more inefficient because you are carrying extra weight. It's really not that much more inefficient. You're probably going to notice 10-20 watt-hours per mile, somewhere in that neighborhood, by having the package installed. But the level of protection that you get, especially off-roading, well, that's kind of priceless, truth be told. We're here in Atlanta. We have some interesting streets out here. Things tend to pop up, hit the vehicles on an occasion. If any kind of spare tire that's kind of hanging on the road, which they call snakes on the highway, if those happen to pop up, it's not going to do anything to it. It'll just bounce right on off and the truck will keep on rolling. So that's the main reason I had this installed. It's just, well, everyday driving, truth be told. If something were to hit the battery pack, I would much rather have the armor package installed and deal with it that way rather than having the insurance claim on the vehicle. Because we all know how insurance goes with some of these EVs, and specifically the Cybertruck sometimes. We don't need those rates going up. Now, having said all that, with this package, there are a few drawbacks that you need to be aware of, and Tesla does not explicitly tell you prior to having the armor package installed. The number one thing you're going to notice with this armor package, aside from the weight, is that you are unable to install running boards. So if you have any running boards installed on your vehicle right now, you're going to have to remove them, and you will have to remove them before you take your truck into service. Tesla's not going to touch them. So maybe some service centers, if they're really nice, will, but most will not. So be sure to remove your Cybertruck running boards off of the vehicle prior to installation. You won't be able to put them back on because the same holes that you use to connect your running boards are the exact same holes that are being used to connect the armor package. So you're going to lose them. The only way I can see the running boards being attached maybe is if somebody develops a method to use some longer, stronger screws in those exact same holes that go on the outside of this thing. Thus far, I haven't seen anything that works as of yet. Also, the running boards themselves might have to be modified due to the extra thickness, because if you look on the back part of the running board and the front part, you'll notice that it is significantly thicker than your typical Cybertruck running board. The ones were plastic, you know, they were only about 1/4 of an inch thick, 1/2 an inch thick, somewhere in that neighborhood. This is a full inch of steel here that we're talking about, and it takes up a lot more room. So if you think you're going to be able to put those running boards back on, sorry, you're going to lose them. It doesn't seem right because running board goes with, well, off-roading. That's a thing. Well, not anymore, not on here. Sorry. The second thing that you're going to lose are your mud flaps. If you happen to have mud flaps on your vehicle, which I know a lot of us do, including the ones from Tesla, not just the aftermarkets, you're not going to be able to have them on, most of them. The ones that sit next to the wheel, on the inside of the wheel well, those will be removed. So I'm talking specifically about the front ones, which are, in my opinion, the most important ones, because that's what keeps the water, dirt, and grime from splashing up onto the side of the door. Thus far, I have not had a problem with that since my mud flaps have been removed. The ones on the rear, however, the ones that are behind the rear wheels, those mud flaps will stay on the vehicle. If you happen to have the Tesla mud flaps, they'll take care of the Tesla OEM stuff. But if you have aftermarket anything, remove it before you take it in for service. So that's a tour of the Terrestrial Armor Package from Tesla. Like I said, this is the official OEM package. I know some other folks tried to come up with some other ideas on their own to build their own at home, but these are the official OEM package from Tesla. Once again, it's $3,500 from the Tesla store installed. Let me know how you guys intend to use this armor package, whether or not you plan on getting it or not. By the way, one other note, it is good for the Cyber Beast and the all-wheel drive version. Thus far, I have not seen an indication that it's available for the long-range version. They may not have the drilled holes to fit the armor package. So long range, you may be out of luck, truth be told. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you can put it on the long range or not for the guys out there that have them. Take a look underneath. If you want to see more of this content, guys, please help us out by hyping us up on YouTube. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.